In 2017, our food cost per person per day was $4.76. And in 2026, 9 years later, it's $4.82 per person per day, month after month, year after year. It was only 6 cents higher 9 years later. And grocery prices didn't stay flat over those 9 years. Everyone else's bills went up a lot. Ours didn't. That's not luck. That's not extreme couponing. That's not a special income. That's a system my mom built in 2018 and has run consistently ever since. I'm Vienna. This is Wandering Vienna, and today I want to talk to you through exactly what she did, because the numbers are real and the system is something anyone can choose to use. First, the context. Between 2017 and 2026, food prices across the country went up significantly. Grocery inflation hit especially hard between 2021 and 2023. Meat, eggs, dairy, produce, everything went up. For most households, what they spent on food went up with it. We were 2 people, a mom and her kid. Our per person per day cost in 2017 was $4.76. That's not a big number. And by 2026, with everything that happened to our grocery prices in between, our number is only $4.82 per person per day. Again, per person per day, every month, every year, with a 6-cent difference. That gap between what food inflation did to most households and what it did to ours is entirely explained by one thing: what my mom changed in 2018. In 2018, my mom started applying a framework she'd been developing for how to approach every purchase. She calls it when, where, how. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it's a lot more powerful than it sounds. When, buying on your terms, not the store's. The when is about timing. My mom does not buy meat at full price. She doesn't buy non-essential groceries at full price either. She waits. She watches sale cycles on things we buy regularly. And when something drops to 25 to 50% or more, she doesn't just buy what she needs for the week. She stocks up. She buys what she needs for the month, then waits for the next sale. This one habit applied consistently over nearly a decade is one of the biggest reasons our per-person food cost has barely moved. Most people buy food when they need it. My mom buys it when the price is right. There's a real difference between those two things when you do it every single month for 9 years. She always told me the sale always comes. You just have to be willing to wait for it. Patience is free, and in the grocery store, patience is purchasing power. Where? Intention over habit. The where is about knowing which store is actually worth your money for what you actually need, and going there on purpose. Not because it's the closest, not because it's familiar, but because it's where the value is highest for that specific purchase. Different stores have different strengths. My mom knows where to buy produce, where to buy meat, where to buy household items. She doesn't do all her shopping in one place out of habit. Loyalty to a store that isn't giving you value is a hole in your pocket. You just can't see it because you've always shopped there. She saw it, she changed it, and over 9 years, that intentional wear adds up to a meaningful difference. How? Making every dollar work double. This is the most interesting one. My mom pays for groceries, gas, utility bills, and regular household purchases on a cashback rewards credit card. The money is always set aside and ready to pay. The card is just the method. She pays the full balance every single month. She has never once paid $1 of interest, ever. And at the end of the year, she collects the cashback reward money she earned back on dollars she would have spent already. I want to be clear about this because it matters. This only works when the full balance is paid every single month. If you carry a balance and pay interest, the strategy flips immediately. The asset becomes a liability. That's not what this is. When it's done right, every grocery run, every utility bill, every gas fill-up is working double. The dollar leaves and sends something back. That's the how, and it's been running in our household for almost a decade. Let's put this into real terms. $4.76 per person per day in 2017. Multiply that by 365, that's about $1,737 per person per year on food. $4.82 per person per day in 2026. That's about $1,759 per person per year. The difference over 9 years is roughly $22 per person per year. Now think about what happened to everyone's grocery bills over the same time period. The average American household's food spending increased substantially between 2017 and 2026. Even if we're just talking about a modest increase, say $30 to $50 more per month per person, that's $360 to $600 more per person that year. That's just leaving. The gap between our number and what most households experienced didn't come from a special income. It came from a system applied consistently month after month for 9 years. That gap, whatever it is for your household, goes somewhere when it's not plugged. It just leaves quietly every month. When it plugs, it stays. Whatever stays becomes available for something else. Margin, investing, a trip, an emergency fund, options. That's the whole point of when, where, how. Not deprivation, not extreme frugality, just strategy applied consistently over time. I want to say something that I think is the most important part of all of this. My mom didn't do when, where, how for a month and then stop. She did it for 9 years, month after month, year after year. The per person per day food cost number didn't stay flat because of one great month of shopping. It stayed flat because the system ran in the background constantly. Not dramatically, not painfully, just consistently. That's ingredient 2 of the 3 ingredients of wealth. Create the margin. The margin is the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Every dollar not lost to full price grocery shopping, every dollar not lost to the wrong store, every dollar that came back as cashback rewards, that's margin. And margin is where everything else is built from. My mom's $25,000 emergency fund came from the margin. Her 35% monthly investment rate came from the margin. 20 countries across 5 continents on school breaks came from the margin. And the flat per person food cost for 9 years, that's what protecting the margin looks like in a grocery cart. The system isn't glamorous, but it runs. And over time, 9 years of time, it creates a gap between what happens to your finance and what happens to everyone else. That gap is the whole thing. $4.76 in 2017, $4.82 in 2026, per person per day, month after month, year after year. I'm sharing this because these are real numbers, and they don't lie. This isn't a theory. This isn't a plan my mom thought about and never followed through on. This is what nearly a decade of when, where, how actually looks like in the data. You can choose to do what we did. The framework is simple. The discipline is real. The results speak for themselves. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. The full when, where, how framework is here. The long-form content is here. We're just getting started. And don't forget to like this video. I'm Vienna, this is Wandering Vienna, and make sure to come back because there's always more to explore.